All right, happy Sunday. Welcome back to the show. This is the Premier League Pick'em for Sunday, August 27th, 2023. We got three Premier League matchups going on, and we're going to go over each game. I'm going to give you my lean, my best bet for each game. Let's get it started. All right, first up, we got Burnley going up against Aston Villa. It's the battle of the two claret teams in the Premier League. I wonder which club had the color first. Imagine it's Aston Villa. They've been around, I think, longer than Burnley. At any rate, this is also a matchup of the two teams that actually changed their logos over the off season, and I got to tell you, I like both of these logos, and I am going to put out a logo ranking video at some point. I call them logo. I know in the UK you guys call them badges, but over here in the United States I'm just used to calling them logos. But at any rate, I love these logos. I love soccer logos, love football logos. So I think both of these are cool. I think Burnley. This is a big time step up from the logo that they used to have. But getting to the game, I read something interesting about Burnley that in the championship last year, which they had one of the most successful seasons in the championship in the past like 10 years or something like that, but they really dominated in the championship last year, and they did that by doing something that wasn't. That was a bit unorthodox from what Burnley was used to doing, especially under the leadership of Sean Dyche, who's now, of course, the coach over at Everton, where they were more of a low block team and counter-attacking team. And with the arrival of Vincent Company, he kind of adopted some of those strategies that Pep Guardiola does at Man City, where it's more possession heavy, short passes, and playing the counter press and things of that nature on defense to win the ball back. And now that they're in the Premier League, I think the had like something like 65% possession in the championship, but in the Premier League they'd be lucky to have 45%. So one of the things that this particular writer noticed, and I can't remember the writer, and I apologize for that, is that maybe Burnley isn't ready to transition to that type of play where they're going to be playing a little bit less possession in the Premier League, up there with the big boys. So. But Aston Villa, they really bounced back from their first game against Newcastle. Played really well in their matchup against Everton, blew them out. First team in the Premier League to lose by goals in their first game, and then bounce back and win by 4 goals when they won 4-0 against Everton. Now Aston Villa has played a game during the week on. Thursday, I believe it was, they played a Europa Conference League matchup, which they won handedly, I believe 5-1 against Hibernian. And again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. But so looking at this matchup from a betting standpoint, I don't think Burnley is getting enough love in this game. I really don't. I think this is a squad that has a lot of potential. They really need to get together on offense again in order to kind of transition to what play is going to be like in the Premier League. Aston Villa, on the other hand, they have a lot of firepower, and they're a team that a lot of predicted should be able to score goals this year, and I think that probably is accurate. I like Aston Villa a lot as a side in the Premier League, and I could easily see them finishing, bettering their seventh place finish from last year. But we'll see what happens. For this particular game, I could tell you my favorite bet is going to be a bet that you could probably only find on BetMGM. I've said this before. BetMGM is the best site that I know of for selections in international football. It's just they have bets that you can make on there that I no other site has, and that's why I like to use them for betting on soccer, because it's advantageous towards making money. So, and again, the particular bet that I like on this game is Aston Villa on the double chance. Okay, because I really think Burnley isn't getting enough love, and they could pull this game off. They really could. I think they could win this game, especially because they're at Turf Moor. If they weren't if they were at Villa Park, I wouldn't be saying that. But at Turf Moor, I think they have definitely have a chance. So that's why I want to go with Aston Villa on the double chance, and then couple that with both teams to score. So I see at least 2 goals in this game. Obviously, I think there's probably going to be a third goal, and but you can get good value on this plus money plus 115 over at BetMGM. Now, if you did want to take a bet with Aston Villa, I bet Aston Villa plus 2.5 goals. Okay, because if that third goal is going to happen, then you want to bet probably that it's going to be Aston Villa, and they get that third goal, and maybe they win 2-1, something like that. But I do see Burnley getting a goal, so I would go with Aston Villa, the double chance, and both teams to score, and that's going to be my best bet for this particular game. Next up, it's the Sheffield United going up against Man City. Ironically, this is the easiest game to pick a side to win the game, and I think you guys probably know which team that is. But the irony is that it's the hardest game to pick a decent bet for. It's because it's hard to find value on this, because Man City is just the overwhelming favorite. So you had to search around a little bit, and I hope you guys don't think I'm lacking creativity with some of the selections that I make when it comes to soccer. It's just that this is where I think the most value is at. Now, it is risky to take these same game parlays. But looking at this game, Man City is no doubt the favorite. They're since the kind of the blip that they had at the beginning of last season, where they kind of had to take some time to gel with Erling Haaland coming on board and finally having that dominant striker on their side, they've really hit full stride. Obviously they won the treble last year, but they're a team that is full steam ahead, and I'm not sure that any other team can stop them this year. And until something happens that kind of breaks up this team, like Pep leaving the squad, I know Real Madrid's talking about making a run at Erling Haaland next year, whatever it may be. Even with Kevin De Bruyne, out for the next 2 to 3 months, I still think with a guy like Phil Foden that could come in and fill in for De Bruyne, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better player to come in there and fill the shoes of a legend. And Phil Foden is a really, really good player, and you got to love what he does, because he contributes in so many different aspects of the game. Facilitating as a scoring threat, just being able to win balls. He's not a real big guy either, but he, even hold the ball. He's just a really, really good player, and he can do so many good things. He has such great awareness. Now, Sheffield United, on the other hand, I really like a move that they recently made. Obviously, I don't hide my feelings about Arsenal being my favorite team, and the team that I root for. And again, I'm not from. I do have English ancestry, but I'm not from the UK. Obviously, you could tell by my accent. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and but I do have some teams that I've grown fond of, and one of them is Coventry City. Now, they had a guy on their team by the name of Gustavo Hammer, and he has recently been transferred over to Sheffield United. He scored a goal in his first game last week. Really like that player. I think Hammer is one of the most underrated players in English football, and I know the people that know, they know he's a great player, and they have a lot of respect for his game. But I don't. I think this is one of those moves that's kind of flown under the radar, and I think he's really going to make a name for himself this year in the Premier League. But again, looking at this is not an easy game to pick and to find value in from the betting standpoint, but looking at the past matchups, I'll tell you what, Man City and Sheffield United. Now, this is a different Man City squad when Sheffield United was in the Premier League last time, but they played really, really low-scoring games, like 1-0. City is dominated for the most part, but 1-0 or 1-0 and things of that sort. So they did play each other in the FA Cup last year. I believe it was the FA Cup quarterfinals or semifinals. And excuse me for, not knowing which one it is, but and they won 3-0. So looking at that and looking at everything, and taking it into perspective, the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is missing, and that that really this Man City squad is. They still do have some players that they're incorporating into their squad that are new to the team. So, I think it's reasonable to assume that 2-0, 3-0 is a good projection and something that we could probably count on. So let's go with Man City and under 3.5 goals, and you could get that at negative 125. This is what I'm talking about. I was looking at even the Man City and Man City to first half and second half. I think that's worth it, but it's minus 180. Less risk, no doubt. And for those that are more risk averse, maybe you want to go with something like that. If you want to go with Man City to nil, I believe that's minus 170. So so there's some options. If you want to get that little bit more bang for your buck, go with Man City and under 3.5 goals, and you can get that at minus 125 at DraftKings. Might be able to get a little bit better at BetMGM, but that's my final bet: Man City and under 3.5 goals. And last up, we got Newcastle going up against Liverpool. I think this is probably the best game of the day. No doubt about it. This is going to be the best game. You have two top-tier teams going up against one another, two teams that can really do it all, that can play defense, that can score goals, and that have the ability to, if not win the league, with the team like City sitting around, lurking around, it's really hard to expect anyone else winning the league. But these are two teams that are within consideration to vie for the title, both this year and going forward. Liverpool, I think, is the reason why I can't pick Liverpool to win this game is because looking at what's going on with them internally, I think there's a lot of things going on where there's a lot of uncertainty, like the Salah going over to Saudi Arabia. There was talk about their goalkeeper, his name is escaping me, Allison, going to Saudi Arabia as well. I don't know if that's actually affecting the team internally. I know they're pretty focused, and that they have excellent leadership with Jurgen Klopp. That he has those guys disciplined and focused on the task at hand, but you never know, And whereas Newcastle, on the other hand, Eddie Howe has really done a really nice job with Newcastle, and they're a team that, although they lost to City last week, 1-0. That's a 1-0. That's a respectable loss. I mean, it's not something that you need to be embarrassed about. You're going up against the best team in the world, and you lose 1-0. You feel, you still want to win that game, but you feel pretty decent about that. That you came there and you competed, and that you walked away with your dignity still in hand. But I really like the addition of Sandro Tonali for Newcastle. He looked really, really good in that first game against Aston Villa, scoring a goal, distributing the ball, playing excellent defense. He is a really, really, really good player. And I think he's going to do a lot of good things for that squad there, and at Newcastle. So I really like Newcastle as the side in this game. Now, with that being said, this is still Liverpool on the other side. You can never count them out. And from a betting standpoint, you got to take that into consideration. It's all about risk and reward. And there's a nice reward there with a bet. And we already talked about this with Aston Villa, similar to what I think about with Aston Villa, but this is more at an elevated level. You're going up against a team in Liverpool that has won the Champions League. They were, lost to Madrid in the Champions League the year before last. This is a team that you can't ever count out. So, in order to kind of hedge my bets here, the bet that I like the most for this particular game. Now I'm going to give this, 4 out of 5 soccer balls. Where you see with Aston Villa, I gave it 5 out of 5. That's my best bet because, it's more of a likelihood that Aston Villa beats or ties against Burnley than it is that Newcastle. Well, that's hard to say because, Burnley is at Turf Moor and Newcastle is at home here at St. James. But it's Liverpool on the other side. So just in order to be on the safe side, let's go with Newcastle double chance plus both teams to score. In that you'll get plus 100 even odds, and I think that's a bet that's for sure to pay off. I really do. I think that's for sure thing. You're gonna win on that one, and you're gonna walk home with some money in your pocket. So let's go with Newcastle and both teams to score, and I really, really like that bet. 4 out of 5. All right, that's all I got for you folks. As always, if you like what you see here, you like what you hear here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I think I got 3 subscribers now, and it's like my fucking wife and maybe my kid subscribe to the channel. So, come on, show the kids some love. Subscribe to the channel. I help you make some money. I put a lot of time into this stuff, and it's all to benefit you guys and provide you with some bets that'll put some money in your pocket. So hit that like button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.